Tonight, Broken Hill records its lowest daily COVID-19 number in a week, and vaccination rates across the Spencer Gulf hit another milestone.
From our 7 Spencer Gulf studios, your nightly news with Ruby Kamain begins now.
Good evening. Broken Hill has recorded its lowest daily case number in a week, with just one local testing positive. Another vaccination freedom coming into effect, while further restrictions will ease in South Australia by the weekend.
Every man and his dog helping to sniff out COVID in Broken Hill. On a day where the city was rewarded with just one new case, there were 5 in Wilcannia. But today, all are either household contacts or linked to a known case. We do have new casual contact exposure sites. You can find a full list of venues and times on the New South Wales Government website. The vaccination rate in New South Wales, again leading to early freedoms, friendship bubbles now permitted.
It's a balancing act. We're in an epidemic and everything has to be a balance.
Up to 3 children under 18 years of age can now visit each other's homes. The bubbles must always be the same 3 children living in the same LGA, and all adults in the house must be fully vaccinated.
I think this new travel bubble will really help improve everyone's mental health and also hopefully their schooling.
Broken Hill could come out of lockdown earlier than expected in October. The 70% double dose mark potentially seeing restrictions ease on the 11th. While in COVID-free South Australia, testing requirements will be lifted for Queensland travellers from Saturday. From Thursday, up to 50 people can dance at private functions. Stand-up drinking also allowed in outdoor licensed venues.
Clearly we're looking at the impact of the take-up of the vaccine in South Australia, and the more people who are vaccinated, the more latitude we have with some of these restrictions that are in place.
Lachlan Itter, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
And as we continue to take steps towards freedom, South Australians are once again urged to jump on board and roll up their sleeves. The latest data showing vaccination rates across the region have hit another milestone, with first doses now above 60%.
Vaccination rates on the rise.
We want to make sure that people get vaccinated. We want to make it as easy as possible.
The latest data revealing Port Augusta is leading the way in regional city centres. Around 62% of people over the age of 15 have received their first dose. 46% are fully vaccinated. Whyalla is not far behind. 45% there have had both jabs. And in the Port Pirie Regional Council area, more than 60% of people have had one jab. 43% are double dose vaccinated. Taking a look around the region, and more than half of Barunga West and Orroroo-Carryton residents are fully vaccinated. The Copper Coast and York Peninsula both sitting at 47% for second doses, while the Flinders Ranges is nearly 49%. And 28% of Peterborough residents have had both jabs.
We are very keen that those rates increase, and we're keen to work with our partners and the pharmacies, the GPs.
While vaccination rates are approaching the national targets of 70 and 80%. It's hoped more people will roll up their sleeves, with Pfizer now available to anyone over the age of 12 and Moderna on the way.
We certainly want to go beyond 80. We would certainly be very keen to push up to 90 and above.
Meanwhile, a new COVID vaccination clinic has opened here in Port Pirie, located at the old Toy World building opposite Woolworths. The new hub doubling capacity, allowing up to 240 vaccines to be administered per day.
We know that getting vaccinated against COVID is one of the most important things that we can do to protect ourselves, our families, our friends and our communities.
Katrina Musson, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
Meanwhile, Australian truck drivers are pushing for a 24-hour COVID testing site in Port Augusta. The union says staff always on site to provide vaccines and return test results quickly will protect transport workers and the communities they pass through.
Transport unions hoping to flatten out a bump in the road, with deadlines mounting on interstate truck drivers to get vaccinated.
The 7th of October. This is the date that's been set for Victorian-based heavy vehicle operators to get their first jab.
The federal government to establish 24-hour COVID testing sites on South Australian border crossings.
The vaccination clinics, I understand, are in the process of being established and should be established this week.
But transport bodies are also calling for 24-hour staffing at sites like Port Augusta, in a bid to reduce test result waiting times on the key freight thoroughfare.
Truck drivers, we need to make sure they maintain the server they had and keep carrying Australia while we have. So the best place to get them tested and vaccinated is at these major border stops and major hubs.
The Transport Union says almost all national east to west road freight movements must pass through Port Augusta on their journeys. But the current staffed hours of the clinic are making it hard for drivers to be regularly tested and meet their deadlines.
These truck drivers are generally doing interstate work at night time, during the day when they're sleeping. Port Augusta is one of the spots where they get to, 10, 11 o'clock at night, pull over and they have their major break.
Also saying the implementation of rapid antigen tests that can be performed easily and give results in minutes may also help the process.
Rapid antigen testing would only make that better, because that's, they come back, it's 10, 15 minutes, some say even less, but you get tested at the border. If you're clear to go, you go.
Edward McCarroll, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
To today's other news, and an alleged drink driver has lost his licence and will face court after being detected at Port Neal yesterday morning. Air and Western Highway patrols stopped a vehicle travelling on Gill Street at around 9:30 a.m. The 65-year-old man from Port Neal allegedly returned a positive reading of 0.183, more than 3 times over the legal alcohol limit. He was reported for drink driving, set to appear in court at a later date. Still to come tonight, Port Lincoln launches its Reconciliation Action Plan for the city's First Nations people. And warming weather leads to reminders to check barbecue equipment. Welcome back. Port Lincoln Council has revealed its first ever Reconciliation Action Plan. It's been developed as a collaboration with representatives of the Bungala people, the traditional landowners of Port Lincoln.
An important moment in Port Lincoln's history. The city's mayor revealing the inaugural Reconciliation Action Plan.
We've been heading towards this for some time in the council, but I think from a community perspective, we've been heading towards this for a long, long time.
The RAP, as it's called by council, underpinned by Reconciliation Australia's core pillars of respect, relationships and opportunities. Local Bungala man Jaden Richards, part of the RAP working party.
All it takes is one step and a journey starts. And hopefully we're going to be, this is implemented within the next 1 or 2 years.
Local Indigenous artist Vera Richards commissioning the artwork that features throughout the plan, now giving the Indigenous community a greater say in the city's future.
It's good to be at the table with the discussions of where the community is going in the future.
The Foreshore Project, one of the major developments the council is seeking input from Indigenous locals. Mayor Flaherty looking forward to hearing from as many people as possible.
Working with as many people as we can that would have positive input into where we're going, and I think that we've really achieved today.
Dylan Smith, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
The first sections of the Punkari Road upgrade near Menindee could be completed by the end of next month. Final sealing will soon get underway on 9 of the 61 kilometres of road. The project was suspended for more than 2 months after Indigenous scar trees were destroyed, with further delays caused by rain and a COVID scare. The total cost of the upgrade is expected to reach at least $3 million more than budgeted. Thousands of tonnes of structural timber from Kangaroo Island will now be made available to the state's housing and construction industry. The $15.1 million federal government package will help move logs salvaged from bushfire-affected plantations. According to the state government, it will help build up to 10,000 more houses and support jobs in the timber and home building industry. A South Australian battery mineral project on the Eyre Peninsula has received major project status. The announcement, a major boost for the region, with hundreds of jobs set to be created in the coming years.
A major boost for the Eyre Peninsula community. Renascore Resources granted major project status for their proposed mine site, located 15 kilometres west of Arno Bay.
We're excited about it. We've been developing this for the better part of the past 5.5 years, and in that time it's become quite significant from a global perspective. It's the second largest reserve of graphite.
Managing Director David Christensen highlighting the benefits to surrounding communities. He says during the construction phase, more than 100 jobs will be created.
And then once we're in operation, we'd expect upwards of 200 full-time jobs, and then obviously get a number of indirect benefit jobs as well from that.
In a statement, Federal Resources Minister Keith Pitt saying the project directly contributes to Australia's critical mineral strategy, helping to expand Australia's capability to refine and process rare earth minerals. The company still has a number of items that need to be ticked off before construction starts. Mr. Christensen hopeful it will be in the near future.
Into construction in the second half of next year, and that would put the project in actual production towards the back end of 2023.
Dylan Smith, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
The weather is heating up, and with Broken Hill looking forward to life out of lockdown, many will soon be wheeling out the barbecue. Local firefighters asking the community to check their equipment to make sure family reunions don't go up in flames.
Without a few simple checks, it could be more than just burnt sausages that'll ruin long-awaited catch-ups.
As the weather warms up, we tend to find we get a markedly sharp increase in calls to LPG and barbecue fires.
Firefighters say pouring soapy water over gas hoses and connections will show any leaks. If you see bubbles, don't light up.
Well, we'll get a little gas leak around the connection there. We don't have that secure fitting, so the gas makes contact with the flame. We get the barbecue fire.
They say there's been an increase in people using petrol and kerosene to start barbecues, posing a huge safety risk. Cleaning drip trays is another way to reduce the chances of a fire starting.
If it never gets cleaned out, we can eventually get a fat fire ignited underneath the barbecue, which has caught a few people out.
Firefighters say we should keep a garden hose nearby should any blaze get out of control, but putting water on a fat fire is another recipe for disaster.
Fat fire's best thing we can do is actually use a fire blanket and cover it, or if it's in a pot, just put the lid on and take the pot off the burner that's alight.
And call 000 so crews can make sure any fire has been properly extinguished. Lachlan Itter, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
Stay with us after the break. Community consultations offered for Whyala's foreshore master plan, and Port Augusta employers seek staff at a career expo. Hello again. Whyala residents are encouraged to attend consultation sessions this week to discuss the new foreshore master plan. Locals can also have their say through an online survey, with council keen to get as much feedback as possible.
Ensuring everyone in the Steel City can have their voices heard. The Whyala City Council holding 2 face-to-face consultation sessions this week in regards to the new foreshore master plan.
And we're encouraging the community to get involved. They've been fantastic in their consulting to date, and this takes it to the next stage. And this is a really important project for our city.
The council was recently commended by Local Government Professionals Australia for their openness with the community when the Whyala Jetty was being constructed. Council hoping to do the same with its proposals to transform the surrounding area next to the landmark.
The jetty was successful, and that was due to the consultation that we had with the Whyala community. They chose a fantastic design, and we want to hear from the community for the master plan foreshore area.
It's been 12 months since the Whyala Jetty was opened to the public, with 100,000 people visiting the attraction. The foreshore master plan aiming to enhance the experience for everyone.
We have several consultation sessions this week in Whyala at various locations, but if you can't make one of those locations, you can always call our council customer service line and give your feedback through there.
More details can be found on the council's website. Mark Zita, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
Australia Post is hiring ahead of Christmas, putting out a call to regional South Australians to help meet the demand. There are available positions in Port Lincoln and Whyala. Roles include parcel and mailing processing, posties, forklift operators and in-customer service roles. Meanwhile, the region's biggest employers were on display today at Port Augusta's Central Oval Complex, a career expo hosting the community and various high schools to guide them on their path to success.
Ready to get to work. Career Co partnering with the local jobs program to deliver a career expo today in Port Augusta.
It's part of the Careers and Local Jobs activity, which is about bringing employers and job seekers together. And today's a great opportunity for people to be able to connecting with local employers and some of the jobs that we've got available in the region.
The event's exhibitors, including SA Police, Lee Creek Energy, Oz Minerals, Port Augusta City Council and many more. With organisers saying there is over 100 jobs available, with employers ready to attract their future workforce.
A great number of exhibitors and some really enthusiastic young people coming through this morning, certainly asking lots of questions of the employers to really help them choose their career path.
South Australia's Big Three universities displaying their regional campuses and uni hub options, letting students know they don't have to go to the city to study.
I've been looking for something to do with software engineering, but I've been keeping my eyes open just in case.
I wanted to check out the Defence Force exhibit.
I've come along because I have an interest in all of this information that is being produced here, and I'd like to find out more about it after I finish university.
The expo will also be on display in Whyalla on Thursday at the Recreation Centre. Edward McCarroll, 7 Spencer Golf News.
A Clare mum says her head is still spinning after winning $100,000 on Lucky Lotteries yesterday. As well as winning first prize, she also won a consolation prize of $1,000, taking her total windfall to $101,000. The South Australian resident telling The Lot the win has made her life, saying the money will help her family. The winning entry was purchased from Clare Pharmacy. Stay with us after the break. Reporter Mark Zeta will bring us all the action from weekend sport finals. And we'll have all the weather details with Alex Sykes. Welcome back. The region's sports teams are in the midst of finals action, with many players making the most of calmer weather conditions. With all the results from the weekend, here's Mark Zeta.
Teams in the Whyalla Hockey Association held their grand finals over the weekend, with the senior men's and women's teams going into overtime thrillers. Starting off with the Division 1 Women's Grand Final, and Steel City and Waratah couldn't be separated at the end of regulation time. With both teams going into overtime and the premiership at stake, a penalty stroke helped Steel City gain a 2-1 victory over their opponents. Katie Crompton being named best on ground for the match. With the Division 1 Men's Grand Final, that match between Steel City and Stewarts also went into overtime. Again, Steel City took out a 2-1 win to take the premiership. Tyrone Coulter named best on ground. Moving over to the Port Lincoln Soccer Association Cup Finals, and it was a rematch for the ages, with South Coast FC and the Lincoln Knights vying again for the premiership. Both teams were kept scoreless for the first half. While at the beginning of the second half, South Coast were able to muster up some chances at goal, but they could not find the nets. Knights also tried their best to take the win later on in the term, but both teams ended regulation at 0-0. In extra time, the Lincoln Knights stepped their game up with 4 goals to win the premiership. Charlie Price from the Knights putting the team on his back with 3 goals in the extra period. Best on ground was awarded to Price for his efforts. Finally, in Whyalla 8-ball pool, the Senators lost to Whyalla City. The Shamrocks also lost to Sham Thistle. Steel Green had a win against Lions Gold, while the Rifle Club won against Croatia CCs. City Slickers had the bye this week. That's it for the weekend sports wrap. If you would like your team's results featured in our next bulletin, let us know through our Facebook page.
Time now to take a look at what's happening in the weather. Here's Alex Sykes.
Thanks, Ruby. Well, it was a mighty fine day across the Gulf with not a drop of rain across the region, with those conditions set to continue. From 3 p.m, Port Augusta was partly cloudy and 17. It was cloudy for Port Lincoln and 15, and Clare was partly cloudy and 12 degrees. Looking further out across the region now, Whyalla and Broken Hill were both 16. Port Pirie was 17. Our friends in Adelaide got to a high of 15. Woodner and Cooper Pedy were 19. Kadina and Cleve reached 14. Taking a look at the satellite image now, cloud crossing crossing southeast South Australia with a cold front is generating a few gusty showers. Skies are clear further north under a broad high with light winds and clear skies leading to a chilly night. Moving on to tomorrow's weather outlook now, and we'll start with the Gulf waters. South to southwesterly winds 15 to 20 knots, seas 1 to 1.5 metres, and south to southwesterly swells 1 to 1.5 metres also. To tomorrow's temperatures, Port Lincoln will be partly cloudy and 18, Cleve cloud clearing and 20 degrees, Woodner morning frost and 22, Whyalla cloud clearing 19, Port Augusta will be mostly sunny to reach 21, and Kadina will be partly cloudy and reach 18 degrees. Port Pirie will get to a high of 20, Clare will have morning frost and reach 16, and Broken Hill will be partly cloudy and reach 19 degrees. Taking a look further through the week now, looking to Thursday, and we have a sunny day forecast. Port Augusta will reach 28, Port Lincoln and Adelaide will be 21, 26 degrees in Port Pirie and Whyalla, and 24 in Broken Hill. To Friday, and the sunny weather will continue in Port Augusta, Cooper Pedy and Broken Hill, mostly sunny in Port Pirie and Whyalla, both to reach 20, Port Lincoln partly cloudy and 17 degrees, also 17 in Adelaide, but with possible showers. A peek at the weekend now, Port Pirie, Port Augusta and Woodner will be partly cloudy to reach 19 on Saturday. Cloudy conditions in Port Lincoln, Kadina and Adelaide, Whyalla will be 18, Cooper Pedy sunny and 23, and Broken Hill will be mostly sunny and reach a high of 18 degrees. Well, good thing Lachlan is reminding us about barbecue safety, Ruby, because with weather like this looming, it will soon be time to fire it up. And that's all the weather from me for tonight. See you soon with an update. It's back to you.
Couldn't agree more, Alex. And that's the local news this Tuesday evening. Thanks for joining us. I'll have updates later. Until then, enjoy your evening. Good night.